Split Second, one of the most underrated racing games of the decade. It is an arcade racing game with lots of actions and cars. Made and published by BlackRock Studios and Disney Interactive Studios. I was surprised that studios like Disney had some interest in cars with destruction, and I get where the interest of cars came, but this was completely unexpected. And if you like cars and racing games, please subscribe. Anyway, we will talk about all the cars present in the game and their inspiration, or a total ripoff, who knows.
You can't sleep Monday. Let's not sleep together. You can't sleep Monday. Let's not sleep together.
Before we start, some of these cars are all mixed up, which means one car can have multiple similarities, so heavy emphasis on the word inspiration. Also, some of these cars might have an original design. Starting with the first car, which is the Ryback Brawler. This is clearly inspired by Chevy Camaro. Its headlights, tail lights, and its engine layout can clearly be seen as a real life Chevy Camaro, more like a race version of it, and I think it's kind of a ripoff. Second car in the list is the Cobra T455 GT, which is the starter car for a beginner. It's inspired by the Ferrari F430, and I can say that because its mid-engine layout confirms that, and I think the round shape of the tail lights too. I mean the inner round. Third car or a pickup truck on this list is the Ryback Tornado for some tough guys out there. Which is inspired by the Ford SVT Raptor. You can say it by its headlights and taillights shape, and its buff. Moving on to the fourth car on this list is the Cobra Ardrium, I don't know. But based on its looks, it is a small car with a clear Lotus Rare design. Well, mostly its taillights. And the only difference with this car and the Lotus Elise is that the Cobra Ardrium has a front engine layout which I think is inspired by the Ford Mustang. The fifth car on this list is the Hanzo Indus V8R, which is a kind of a tricky car, but I think the rear of the car is a little inspired by the Nissan 350Z, and then the whole car is just an original design. The sixth car in the list is the Ryback Mohawk or XDR, which is the same extra car with different vinyl. Just by looking at it, it feels like a classic American race car with modern equipments. And I think the whole body design of this car is inspired by the Mustang, with Chevy Camaro SS from the 70s grille. And I think that's about it. Anyways, moving on to the seventh pickup truck on this list is the Ryback Bandit. And I will tell you that Ryback makes some strong and buff vehicles except the one on the list. Anyway, this pickup truck SUV is totally new and I think it's an original design. Moving on to the 8th car on this list, which is the Cobra GT RS. Just by looking at it, it looks like Porsche's 911 design. More particularly, I think it is inspired by Porsche Cayman or the Boxster because it has a mid-engine layout instead of a rear engine layout, so Cayman or Boxster. Ninth car on this list is the Cobra Nero GT400, and this is another original design due to its unique body design. 10th car of this list is the Cobra Vortex. If you have played this game, you have guessed that what this car is based on. Yes, the Lamborghini Murcielago, and I can tell this just by looking at its mid-engine placement and the taillights, obviously. Now the 11th car of the game is the Hanzo GT, which is one of my favorite cars in the entire game due to its performance and handling. And this is clearly inspired by the Nissan GTR, not Skyline R35, due to its front grille and quad exhaust at the back. 12th car on the list is the Hanzo Boyet R, which is quite exotic looking due to its similarities with Pagani Zonda's body design and Ferrari 458 Italia's front look. So it's the mix of both the cars. Moving on to the 13th car on the list, which is the Cobra GT 500, which is also one of my favorite cars because it is inspired by my dream car, which is the Dodge Viper, 5th gen actually. Is it just me or the whole car community does not like the 5th gen Viper because it consists traction control and ABS? Anyway, just by looking at its huge long hood, we can say it has a front mid-engine layout just like the Viper. Moving on to the 14th and the best car of the game, which is the Elite S510. Is it just me that feels like this car is way too overpowered when driven by Vixen and Raptor, and when I drive it, it acts like a slow but Anyway, it is inspired by the McLaren MP412C due to its mid-engine placement and rare look of this car with weird lines on it. The 15th off-road truck of this game is the Ryback Thunder, of which I think is an original design, and even if it has an inspired design, then I don't know because I'm not into trucks that much. Anyway, the 16th car of this game is the Ryback Coyote or AMX as an extra car with different vinyl, which is also a front mid-engine car which is inspired by the Ferrari 599 GTB Fiorano. That name is as long as its hood. Seriously, which is packed with a V12. Moving on to the Cobra Splitstream, which is the 17th car in the game, which is also a little confusing. Initially, I thought that it's inspired by the Porsche Carrera GT, but due to its low extended front hood, it is also inspired by my favorite Koenigsegg Agera, because it was released in 2010, so it's all mixed up. Second Elite car and the 18th car of the game is the Elite 440 Special, which has an extended hood height for a supercharger I guess, and inspired by Ford Mustang again. But there is a short. It can be an original design because this game was released in 2010 and the latest Mustang generation was released in 2015, so there is a catch that it has an original design. And so the 19th car on this list is the Cobretti Cascade, whose inspiration is unknown for me because I think it's an original design. Moving on to the 20th car, which is the Cobretti 530 GTS. I don't know, but this car gives me a vibe of the unstoppable Bugatti Veyron by its egg-like body design and mid-engine placement. I think it's kind of better looking than the Bugatti Veyron. And Bugatti fanboys, it's just my opinion. The 21st car in the game is the Cobretti Pursuit, which is great looking because I think it is inspired by the 4th gen Dodge Viper. I know the Viper again, but I am talking about the ACR version because the cars look similar. Moving on, the third Elite SUV, the Elite Goliath. I don't know, sorry. Okay, so the 23rd car of this game is the only exception Ryback car which is only meant for speed, which is the Ryback Cyclone RS and its special version. I mean, it is clearly inspired by some Lamborghinis like the Lamborghini Countach and the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento. It's all mixed up, but I love this car. So on, the 24th off-road vehicle is the Ryback Titan. Again, I don't know because I'm stupid. Anyway, the 25th car on this list is the Hanzo FX350 and the CX version, and I'm sure that it's inspired by a forgotten hypercar, which is the SSC Ultimate Aero, which was once a record holding car, and its front look is similar to the SSC Ultimate Aero, and that's it. Moving on to the 26th car, which is the Ryback Firestorm, and I think it's the weirdest car in my opinion, but its inspiration is way too rad. The TVR Cerbera Speed 12, which is not street legal due to it being a killing machine as the TVR owner said. Basically, it was a very hard to handle car, which saddens me. And the last car on this list is my favorite car of this game as per looks and performance, the Elite GT12. This is the last and the most difficult car to unlock through winning all the Elite races by coming first. And clearly this car is an LMP1 prototype. I mean, not really, but it's inspiration. And one thing, its headlights is of the Pagani Huayra. I mean, they're the inspiration. And that's about it. So anyways, this is it for this one. Hit like, share if you have any racing game enthusiast near you and even you, and comment to give me feedback, please, it's important, and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more automotive content on to this channel. Bye.